my name is Zoe. I'm the Tipsy Psychic. Today I'm going to talk about the compatibility between a Leo and a Libra Scorpio Cusp. You will drive each other crazy. This is not an easy relationship. Both of you might overreact or take everything the wrong way. This is a very emotional match, often over-emotional. It's not usually about what's going to happen or what has already happened. It's about what's happening. When both of you are working on a bigger purpose, and it's not really about you, then things may stand a chance. They may. Yes, they may. And you will just have to focus on that, won't you? You both can be very judgmental of each other. Very. It can be hurtful. Stop focusing on taking care of them and make sure you're taking care of yourself. That happened. Don't neglect yourself if you want this to work. Stop taking everything that they say to heart. Just because they say something doesn't mean that's how it is. Duh. Try to think of what they say as more of a metaphor, you know? It can help you problem solve. Balance is very important. Very. Try to obtain security. You may feel like a Leo is not really up to your speed. You might feel like things are moving too fast and that you need to slow down a bit. It's hard because being with them is thrilling. It may be difficult to stop. When you feel threatened or upset at your Leo, you might act very critical of them and lash out at them about things that they're touchy about as a defense mechanism because you know how they're going to react. You know what it means to them. And they might be really sensitive. And you know how much they hate when you bring that up or when you use it against them. Your Leo is very insecure and may not be the best at handling judgments. So when you're upset, you might tend to throw it in their face. A big theme in this relationship is that there needs to be proof. Everything has to be literal. Prove it. Make sense of this. Well, where did you find this? I don't believe you. Show me the facts. Where are the facts? This is definitely like a challenging match. Definitely. And you both may disagree on so much. You may have trouble coming to an agreement and finding compromises that work. Wink. Wink. It's important for you to have a heart-to-heart. And I don't mean like conversations that have to do with proving anything, like literally. I mean, getting into the realm of emotion, of bonding, on a deeper level. You're naturally more set in your ways. You know how you like things. But you have to try to be more open, less rigid, you know? You can come across as insensitive when you do that. And being factual really means being realistic because you can get very caught up in your ideals and not actually thinking that clearly. It's important that you clarify like where you are at in your relationship. Don't just assume you're the only one they're seeing when you're dating. Like, make sure you know what your status is. Like, define it. Are you exclusive? Are they sleeping with your friends? Oh boy. Like, just because they feel like they're all yours doesn't mean that they are. So make sure. Know what your status is in the relationship. There has to be a system if you want this to last. And that's why marriage may actually help things. Because there's this sense of responsibility that you have to uphold among these two. But if they're not steady, then they definitely have less a chance at working, you know? Because you both have expectations for one another. And you can ask a lot of each other. You must lay all your cards out on the table. All of them. For each other at all times because trust is everything in this relationship. Whichever one of you fucks up and breaks the trust Woo, they are going to suffer. They are doomed, basically. They won't hear the end of it, whether it's you or them. You may be more old-fashioned or religious in relationships. You like to uphold certain standards. And you can be the one who is more of the classic romantic. And Leo is definitely not that way. Nope. Well, not as much. But they aren't against it, and they'll probably still go with it. They'll support it for sure in this relationship. They just won't be as serious about it as you. You have grand ideas. Grand. And when things aren't going as planned, you're really hard on yourself. And you can blame yourself instead of actually just blaming your plan. Because your plan might suck, but you'd be like, no, I'm beating myself up instead of beating my plan up, you know? It's not healthy. So maybe it's not you. Maybe it's the way you're going about things. Or your dreams. Maybe you need to figure them out. Stop putting yourself down. Because that's not doing any good in your relationship. Your standards can become overwhelming. You start to put more and more on a pedestal. So you need to get a handle on what you expect from a Leo and out of your relationship and not let that get out of hand. You might be overbearing and you can be possessive. Jeez. And you need to recognize that and stop it. Stop before it gets worse. If it hasn't happened yet and you're like, what are you talking about? I'm not possessive. I'm not overbearing. Chill out, bitch. Then you need to do what you can to prevent it from happening because, bitch, it's gonna happen if you're not careful. You need to know what your role is in this relationship. What is the part that you play? I wonder, because they may not automatically be clear to you. You isolate your relationship and forget about the rest of the universe around you. Okay, this can be a very sexual pairing. Physical intimacy, sex, may become a huge part of this relationship. It can be very touchy-feely and erotic, you know? It may also be very grounded in the material realm. You both do things in a sensible way. Like, it has to make sense. You must be able to communicate in a tactful way. There has to be some sensitivity towards each other. There can't be too much or too little. It just has to be the right amount because everything will just go downhill. Think of each other as like delicate flowers. So you have to treat each other that way, like delicate flowers. What flower are you, beautiful? You ask a lot of your Leo, but you don't have to ask that much. So lower your expectations a little if you want things to work. You're both sensitive beings, and it's easy to take things the wrong way. But you cannot hold grudges or harbor resentment. You have to be able to let go of that and move on. Because if you can't accept them, if you can't pardon them for their wrongdoings, then this won't work for you. If you feel resentment starting to fester within you, you need to get out. If you can't forgive them, you need to leave. Don't just do something because it's right for everyone. Don't just do something because it's right for your relationship. Make sure you're doing something because it's right for everyone. When your Leo is on a path and they're driven, then they have the power to go for it. They have this raw energy. And 1 minute they may be going one way, and then the next minute they may be going a completely other way. And it's hard for you to keep up with them. When sex becomes a priority, it can actually make things worse. Sex is important, but if that's all you're doing, then you're not actually focusing on other stuff, important stuff in your relationship. This can be a big issue for you both and cause problems in the long run. And the marriage will definitely fall apart. If your sexual relationship is a challenge, you must be on the same wavelength if you want your marriage to work. You have to be able to meet each other halfway as friends. Friendships between each other as teenagers don't usually last. You both share a powerful energy as best friends, and that can be a good thing or a bad thing. Sometimes it's harder for you to meet each other halfway because you don't understand how or why it's important to do so. So if that's an issue for you both of you need to take the time to understand why it's important for you to see eye to eye. It may feel difficult for you to find your footing with your Leo. You most likely won't be able to harmonize with them. It's not uncommon for you to meet in a religious community, whether it's at church or in a cult, or because you're part of the same group that believes in marriage, or if it's what you were taught growing up, like what you were conditioned to believe, and you just decide to do so, but it often has to do with the community. There's a very fine line between love and hate, and they're both very intense forms of passion. And while you think your passion may be loving, it may quickly transform into something that is very ugly, and before you know it, you're fighting. And things are aggressive. If you're not ready to be in a serious relationship with each other, then you're probably not ready to be all in this relationship and fully put your heart out there. But that is something that you must be able to do to make this work. And it may be what's best for you individually. Friendships can be more like a competition. When both of you are dating and one of you has an affair, it's going to be very tricky. And your Leo will probably be the one who wants to make it work and drag things out, even though they're doomed. If you want this to work, then you both have to constantly be working on yourselves and bettering yourselves. Change needs to happen. You may feel like your Leo makes you feel unstable. It's very common for you both to take your fights too far, and it may feel like there's no coming back from them at times. Now, Leos may think that they're good at getting under your skin, but you know exactly where to hit them where it hurts the most. You know exactly what you can say or do that will bruise their ego. You know exactly how to criticize them so that they feel pain, and you can make them feel very insecure about themselves when you're upset. At times you may not mean any harm. You're just giving your feedback. But you can take your criticisms way too far and really get to your Leo. And sometimes your Leo won't just stand there and take it, and they're the ones to end things and walk away. Sometimes you might be projecting something that is going on in your life, and you take it out on the person you care about. If you have kids together, it's going to be a lot more calm, but you have to try to focus on the household and less on each other when that happens. You may have to lead a very unconventional life as a couple. For this to work, you have to create the perfect relationship for the both of you, and not the perfect relationship for you or them. You have to be able to work together. Being with someone who has a fiery energy like a Leo, it can create instability, but that's not always a terrible thing for you. And if you're okay with that, then good, awesome, fine. A Leo may feel like they have more control over you than they actually do. They may act cocky. The relationship may start out being very traditional, and you may find that that's not sustainable for your marriage. So no matter what your belief system starts off as, you adapt your marriage to the both of you. And if you can't do that, then things may not fit together. Things will always be interesting with your Leo. You will find yourself going on new adventures and trying new things. Your life might feel more exciting and you'll have more going on. While your Leo is cocky, you need to encourage them to not become overconfident. And you both need to stay grounded. And remember that initially your relationship is very practical. Your marriage may follow a very traditional format, and as times go on, then you may have to reformat it so that it works for the both of you. A big reason that marriages don't last often is because you don't reformat it. Your Leo is unpredictable, and when you're with them, life won't be boring. If you've gotten married in the past, then you might be basing your marriage with your Leo off of that model, but it won't work in the same way. If your Leo is an athlete, then things may actually work out more for you. Your Leo is much more of a support system. It may also be stronger if your Leo is a social justice person. So yeah, this has a lot of challenges, this match. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. And if you are a Leo, or if you were born on the cusp of Libra and Scorpio, please comment below. Let me know what you think. Was this accurate? Have you ever experienced this relationship before? Or do you want to? I want to know in the comment section below. Start a discussion. Have a great day. Bye.